full story is that Randall resigned because of sexual harassment. So corporate asked me to do a 5-minute review of the company's sexual harassment policy.
No, Toby, no.
It's really not a big deal,
It is a
Michael.
big deal. It's a big deal!
According to Title IX for survivors, sexual harassment is defined as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, direct or indirect threats or bribes from sexual activity, sexual innuendos or comments, sexually suggestive jokes, unwelcome touching or brushing against a person, persuasive displays of materials with sexually explicit or graphic content, and attempted or completed sexual assault. There are two main types of sexual harassment. One is called quid pro quo, or this for that. It's when someone suggests that in order for another person to participate in an activity, a sexual favor of some sort must be completed. The other kind of sexual harassment is when the victim is in a hostile environment, or when a student is subject to unwelcome advances, a sexual innuendo, or offensive gender-related language that affects a student's ability to participate in or benefit from a school program. Title IX is a 37-word legislation that was enacted in 1972. It was created to ensure equal opportunity for women in sports and has now become the policy that is relied on to prevent sexual misconduct of any kind and punish those who commit these acts.
On the knowyour9.org website, you'll find the explicit language that is listed under the law of Title IX, which states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Title IX currently prevents sexual harassment by requiring schools to have a Title IX coordinator whose contact information must be distributed to all students and employees. This coordinator must handle reports of sexual discrimination on campus and is supposed to serve as an advocate for those who allege discrimination, harassment, or assault. In addition, Title IX requires that each school publish a policy that it does not discriminate on the basis of sex in its education programs and activities. This notice has to be widely distributed and available on an ongoing basis to students and staff.
Title IX undoubtedly has good intentions, but orienting entire university communities toward more reporting of incidents of sexual assault may be inconsistent not only with victim needs, but also with the objective of an increase of reporting. The reporting process may be stressful and somewhat traumatizing for victims and may make them feel more stigmatized and uncomfortable about the situation. The current requirement that schools do everything possible to investigate, notwithstanding a victim's insistence on confidentiality, potentially places victim recovery in tension with Title IX obligations. Even if the victims choose to report their harassment, Title IX legislation does not specifically mention sexual harassment or assault, making the expected reporting and consequential courses of action unclear. Individuals in positions of power to enforce Title IX fail to adequately address sexual harassment or assault by making reporting difficult, blaming the victim, and other ways institutions have been shown to betray student victims.
What are we supposed to do? Scrutinize every little thing we say and do all day?
Title IX needs to be changed in order to be more effective in regards to preventing sexual harassment as well as helping victims that have already gone through an event. The policy enforcement guidelines need to be more geared towards the needs of victims and the effectiveness of the solutions.
New and improved. You know what?
Title IX needs to be changed in order to be more effective in regards to preventing sexual harassment as well as helping victims that have already gone through an event. The policy enforcement guidelines need to be more geared towards the needs of victims and the effectiveness of the solutions. The best way that Title IX can do this is if legislators change the policy itself and explicitly define sexual harassment in the legislation. Davis versus Monroe County School Board of Education was a Supreme Court case from 1999 that held that schools can be held responsible for student-on-student harassment through Title IX. This court case was a huge step because before Davis versus Monroe, schools could get away with turning a blind eye towards instances of sexual harassment. So it only makes sense for the policy to be changed to mention these consequences and lay out a step-by-step process in reporting issues of sexual harassment.
That, my friend, is your victory.